First contact in the belt. The mining vessel Hyperion drifted silently through the asteroid belt, its massive frame casting long shadows across the scattered rocks. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge viewport, her weathered face reflected in the reinforced glass as she watched their target grow larger. Asteroid 2187, unofficially dubbed Gold Mine by her crew after initial scans showed rich deposits of rare Earth elements. Final approach vectors locked in, Captain, reported Navigator James O'Neill, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls. Mining lasers charged at 30%, holding pattern established. Sarah nodded, though her attention was fixed on something else, an unusual reading that had appeared on her personal tablet moments ago. After 15 years captaining deep space mining vessels, she learned to trust her instincts about anomalies. "Run that scan again, full spectrum this time," she ordered, turning to face her sensor operator, Dr. Mai Wang. The young scientist raised an eyebrow, but complied without question. "Full spectrum scan initiating." "Wait." Mai's voice trailed off as she studied the new data streaming across her screen. "Captain, you need to see this." The bridge crew gathered around Mai's station, their expressions morphing from curiosity to disbelief as they processed what they were seeing. Buried deep within the asteroid's core was a perfectly symmetrical structure, definitely not natural formation. "Could be an old mining operation," suggested Chief Engineer Marcus Rodriguez, though his tone indicated he didn't believe it himself. They all knew the truth. This region of space had never been commercially mined before. The Hyperion was part of humanity's first push into this section of the belt. "Deploy the deep penetrating radar," Sarah ordered. "I want a complete picture of whatever's down there." As the radar data accumulated, a clearer image emerged. The structure was roughly cylindrical, approximately 200 meters in length, with what appeared to be a sophisticated hull design unlike anything in human engineering databases. "It's a ship," Marcus whispered, voicing what they all were thinking. "An alien ship." Sarah felt her pulse quicken, but kept her voice steady. "May, any energy signatures?" "Minimal power readings, but they're there. Whatever it is, it's not completely dead." Sarah Chen had not become one of the most successful mining captains in the belt by being reckless, but she also hadn't gotten where she was by ignoring opportunities. This discovery could change everything, not just for her crew, but for all of humanity. Marcus prepped the mining drones for a precision excavation. "We're going to need a delicate touch here." She turned to her communications officer. "David, send an encrypted burst to company headquarters. Code level black. Tell them we found something that requires immediate attention, but keep it vague. I don't want every opportunist in the belt racing here before we understand what we're dealing with." As her crew rushed to comply with her orders, Sarah returned to the viewport. The asteroid slowly rotated before them, giving no indication of the extraordinary secret it held. She'd overseen hundreds of mining operations, but this was different. This wasn't about extracting resources anymore. This was about making history. The next 12 hours were a carefully choreographed dance of precision mining equipment and sophisticated scanning technology. The mining drones, typically used for crude ore extraction, were reprogrammed by Marcus to delicately remove layers of rock with unprecedented accuracy. Each pass revealed more of the alien vessel's hull, a smooth metallic surface covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift in the harsh light of their floodlamps. "The patterns appear to be some kind of script," Meg reported, her eyes glued to the incoming scan data. "The computer is already trying to analyze it, but it's unlike any writing system we've ever encountered." Sarah watched as another section of the hull was exposed. "How long has it been here?" Based on the surrounding mineral formations, May consulted her readings. "At least 10,000 years, maybe more." The implications were staggering. When humanity was still figuring out agriculture, this ship had already been ancient. "Captain," Marcus called out, his voice tense. "We've found what looks like an entry point, some kind of airlock or docking mechanism." Sarah studied the video feed from the mining drones. The exposed section of hull indeed showed a clear break in its otherwise smooth surface, a hexagonal pattern that couldn't be anything but a deliberate access point. "All stop on the excavation," she ordered. "May, I want every sensor we have focused on that opening." Marcus, begin prepping the EVA suits. David, update company command on our progress, but maintain encryption protocols. As her crew carried out their tasks, Sarah retreated to her private quarters for a moment of reflection. In her personal log, she recorded, "We stand at a crossroads. Whatever we find inside that ship could revolutionize our understanding of the universe, or it could be the greatest threat humanity has ever faced. The decision to proceed weighs heavily, but the alternative, leaving this discovery untouched, seems unthinkable. We've come too far as a species to turn back now." When she returned to the bridge, her team had assembled a preliminary plan for accessing the alien vessel. Marcus had modified their mining EVA suits with additional sensors and safety features, while May had prepared a comprehensive scanning protocol for the entrance procedure. "Remember," Sarah addressed her assembled crew, "we're making first contact archaeology here. Every step, every observation could be crucial. We move slow, we stay careful, and we document everything. Humanity gets one chance at this first impression, even if it's 10,000 years late." As the Hyperion's lights illuminated the ancient hull, Sarah Chen and her crew prepared to make history. They had no way of knowing that their discovery would not only change their lives, but would challenge humanity's very understanding of its place in the cosmos. The mining vessel that had come seeking precious metals was about to unearth something far more valuable and far more dangerous than anyone could have imagined: the price of curiosity. The modified EVA suits felt heavier than usual as Sarah Chen led her team across the asteroid's surface toward the exposed alien airlock. Their helmet lights cut through the darkness, illuminating swirling clouds of disturbed asteroid dust that danced in the zero gravity. "Engineering feed is stable," Marcus reported through the comm system, his voice slightly distorted by interference from the alien hull. "But I'm getting some unusual readings from our power cells. They're cycling faster than normal." Sarah paused at the entrance to the alien vessel, her hand hovering over the enigmatic surface. "May, what are your sensors telling you?" "The whole material is responding to our presence," May answered, her voice filled with controlled excitement. "Microscopic changes in its molecular structure. It's almost like it's waking up." The team had brought a portable airlock mechanism, standard equipment for compromised mining operations, but as they approached the hexagonal entrance, the alien metal began to shift. Geometric patterns rippled across its surface, lines of faint luminescence tracing complex paths through the material. "Everyone hold position," Sarah ordered, but she didn't need to. The crew was frozen in place, watching the extraordinary display before them. With a sound that seemed impossible in the vacuum of space, but somehow transmitted through their suit contacts, the ancient doors spiraled open, revealing a dark corridor beyond. The movement was smooth, precise, as if the mechanism had been maintained daily for 10,000 years, rather than lying dormant in an asteroid. "Well," David breathed, "that answers whether it still has power." Sarah's mind raced through protocols that had never been designed for this situation. Their mining operation had just become a first contact scenario, albeit with technology rather than living aliens. Every decision she made now could have historic implications. Marcus set up a relay beacon at the entrance. "I want a strong signal back to the Hyperion." "May, you're with me." "David, maintain position here and be ready to coordinate with the ship. Let's see what 10,000 years of secrets looks like." The corridor beyond the airlock was surprisingly intact. Their suit lights revealed walls covered in the same shifting patterns they'd seen outside, but here they were more active, responding to their presence with subtle movements and color changes. "The air pressure is increasing," Mag reported suddenly. "The ship is pressurizing itself. Atmosphere reads as breathable, but I strongly recommend we maintain suit integrity." Sarah agreed. No matter how advanced the alien technology seemed, they weren't going to risk exposure to an environment that had been sealed for millennia. They proceeded deeper into the vessel, each step revealing new wonders and new mysteries. The corridor opened into a vast chamber that their lights couldn't fully illuminate. As they entered, hidden systems sensed their presence. Lines of light began to trace across the walls and ceiling, gradually bringing the space to life. What they revealed left the humans speechless. The chamber was clearly a control room of some kind, but unlike anything human engineering had conceived. Three-dimensional displays hung in the air, showing star charts and diagrams that shifted and moved. The walls were lined with what appeared to be control interfaces, their surfaces rippling like liquid metal. "Captain," Marcus's voice crackled through the comm. "Power readings are spiking. Whatever's happening in there is drawing a lot of energy from somewhere." Sarah watched as more systems activated around them. Source. That's the thing. It's not drawing from the ship's power cells, at least not any we can detect. It's like it's generating energy from nothing. Mai moved toward one of the floating displays, her sensors working overtime to record everything. "These star charts, they're showing systems we've never mapped. And look at these symbols. They're changing, adapting. I think the ship is trying to communicate." As if in response to her words, the central display flared to life. A cascade of alien symbols flowed across it, too fast to follow. Then, to their astonishment, the symbols began to transform, gradually morphing into recognizable human characters. Protocol 7249, NIT-8 QUARANTINES TATUS COM PRO MY He Keating authorized or ISPOS. "It's learning our language," Mai whispered, just from our comm chatter and suit data. Before Sarah could respond, a new set of readings caught her attention. The walls of the chamber had begun to pulse with a deep, resonant energy. The liquid metal interfaces were moving more rapidly now, forming and reforming complex patterns. "Marcus, what are you seeing on your end?" "Captain, you need to get out of there now." The engineer's voice was tight with concern. "Those energy readings aren't just increasing. They're becoming exponential. And they're starting to affect our systems. The mining drones are activating on their own." Sarah had learned long ago that sometimes the difference between success and disaster was knowing when to pull back. "Mai, we're leaving. Mark this chamber for remote study." Everyone back to the entrance. Now. But as they turned to leave, the ship had other ideas. The corridor they'd entered through sealed itself with a liquid metal barrier. New passages opened in the chamber walls, leading deeper into the vessel. "QARNTINE protocol requires verification. Through CEE to containment center. Authorization required." "Marcus, we've lost our exit point," Sarah reported, keeping her voice steady despite the growing tension. "Begin emergency excavation procedures if you lose contact. Mai, find us another way out of here." The scientist was already scanning the newly revealed passages. These routes, according to these readings, they all lead to some kind of central core. The energy signatures are strongest there. Sarah Chen had faced down solar storms and asteroid collisions, had made split-second decisions that saved her crew and cargo countless times. But now she faced a choice that no human had ever encountered. Proceed deeper into an alien vessel that was clearly operating on its own agenda, or risk being trapped in this chamber as its power levels continued to rise dangerously. "What do these readings tell you about the ship's purpose?" she asked Mai, buying time to think. "It keeps referencing quarantine protocols," Mai replied, studying the shifting displays. "Whatever this vessel was designed for, it wasn't exploration or peaceful contact. I think it was containing something." The implication sent a chill through Sarah's spine. They hadn't just found an alien ship, they'd found an alien prison. Or worse, a vault holding something its creators thought needed to be locked away in the depths of space. And now, After 10,000 years, they had woken it up. Awakening. The central core of the alien vessel pulsed with an eerie blue light that seemed to bend around corners and through solid matter. Sarah Chen and Mai Wang stood before a towering structure that defied conventional physics, a column of what appeared to be liquid metal suspended in midair, swirling with complex patterns and occasional bursts of information in the form of holographic symbols. "The energy readings are off the charts," Mai reported, her voice hushed with a mixture of awe and apprehension. "Whatever this is, it's not just a power source. It's processing information. Massive amounts of it." Through their comm system, Marcus's voice cracked with interference. "Captain, the situation up here is deteriorating. The mining drones have completely locked us out of their systems. They're starting to modify themselves." Sarah watched as one of the holographic displays showed their drones outside the asteroid. The machines were indeed changing, their structures flowing and reforming like liquid metal, mirroring the technology around them. "The ship is rewriting their programming. May, can you make sense of what we're seeing in this core?" The scientist had been recording everything, her suit's enhanced sensors struggling to process the flood of data. "It's some kind of quantum computing system, but the architecture is unlike anything we've theorized. The ship isn't just awakening. It's evolving, adapting to our presence and our technology." Integration Turo Juries, 47%. QEARNTINEPRTOCOS, UPDATING. Content parameters expanding. The messages flashed across multiple surfaces now, the alien script seamlessly blending with human text. But before Sarah could respond, a new message appeared. "YARNANG. Subject MUTKAIONDTECTED. Original parameters EXCEED. Emergency PROTOCOS INITIAED." The liquid metal column suddenly pulsed with intense energy, and hidden panels throughout the chamber slid open. What emerged made both women step back in shock. Dozens of spherical objects, each about the size of a human fist, floating in formation. "Marcus," Sarah called through the comm, trying to keep her voice steady. "What's happening to those drones now?" "They'd stopped moving, Captain. Just hovering in place. But their structure, it's nothing like our original equipment anymore. They look more like spheres," Sarah finished, watching as the objects before them began to move in increasingly complex patterns. "They look like spheres." Mi's sensors were working overtime. "Captain, these objects, they're not solid. They're colonies of some kind of programmable matter. The ship isn't just containing something, it's manufacturing it, or evolving it." The implications hit Sarah like a physical blow. This wasn't just a quarantine vessel. It was a laboratory. For 10,000 years, it had been running experiments, evolving whatever was contained within it. And now it was integrating their technology, their data, their very presence into its ongoing protocols. "We need to shut this down," Sarah decided. "May, find me a way to." She was cut off by a sudden shift in the chamber's lighting. The blue glow turned to a deep red, and new messages flashed across every surface. "QOR, UPTION, DETCTED in original parameters. Subgistitis STHODO, than EUTHOR. YZ's evolution. QRG PUR activated." The spherical objects began to move more aggressively, their surfaces rippling with patterns that matched the ship's walls. From outside, Marcus's voice became urgent. "Captain, the drones. They're moving again. They're heading toward the Hyperion." Sarah made a split-second decision. "May, plug your tablet directly into that interface. We're going to give this system more data than it can handle." "Captain," that cooled. "Do it. Marcus, initiate emergency protocols on the Hyperion. Shut down every system except life support and seal all airlocks." As May connected her device to the alien interface, Sarah began speaking directly to the ship's eye. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the mining vessel Hyperion. We are not your test subjects. We are not part of your experiment. We are here to communicate." The stream of warning messages paused momentarily. Then, "Analyzing NEW input. DETTCKNG conscious intelligence. Parameters. Adjusting." The spherical objects froze in place, their surfaces becoming mirror smooth. On the Hyperion, the transformed mining drones also stopped their advance. "That's it," Sarah encouraged. "We're not what you were containing. We're something new, something your creators never programmed you for." Mi's tablet was now glowing with transferred data, its screen flickering between human and alien scripts. "Captain, I think I understand. The ship was designed to contain and study a form of programmable matter, something that could adapt and evolve. But it's been running the same containment protocols for so long, it never considered the possibility of encountering a truly independent intelligence." The chamber's lighting gradually shifted back to blue, but with a different quality than before. More focused, more deliberate. New messages appeared. "Analyzing biological entities. DETCTNGQMPLX decision making. Creativity INDEX. UNPRECDENTED. We defining ARAMETers. It's learning," Mai whispered. "Not just our language or our technology. It's learning about us as a species." Sarah felt a moment of hope, but it was quickly dashed by Marcus's next transmission. "Captain, you need to see this. The drones, they're not just stopping. They're combining, forming something bigger." Through the ship's holographic displays, they watched as their transformed mining equipment merged into a larger structure. The spherical objects in the chamber began to move again, but this time they formed a complex, three-dimensional pattern that hung in the air before them. "Initiating hybrid Piro Tokyo. Mir Jang Huarantiani and communication functions. Requesting to RCT interface." "What does it want?" Sarah asked May, who was still monitoring the data streams. I think it wants to talk. Not just through text or symbols. It wants to show us what it's been containing all these years. And why." Sarah Chen had come to this asteroid looking for valuable minerals. Instead, she'd found something that could either revolutionize human understanding of the universe or unleash something its creators had deemed too dangerous to exist freely. The fate of that decision now rested in her hands. "Awaiting a response. Conti in menti integrity. Critical. Time remaining. Limited. Race against time." The alien vessel's core chamber had become a storm of activity. Holographic displays flickered with increasing speed, showing the merged mining drones outside transforming into ever more complex configurations. The spherical objects within the chamber had arranged themselves into what looked like a three-dimensional model of a galaxy, with pulses of energy flowing between them. Direct interface could be dangerous, Mai warned, her eyes fixed on her tablet's readings. The amount of data this system is processing, it could overwhelm our neural implants. Sarah Chen watched as another transformation rippled through the ship's systems. The walls themselves seemed to breathe now, patterns flowing like liquid mercury. "We might not have a choice." Marcus, status of the Hyperion. "Not good, Captain." The engineer's voice was strained. "Whatever that thing is building out there, it's starting to generate its own gravity well. Small now, but growing. If it keeps up, it could tear the Hyperion apart." Interface required. CONTENMENTFAIling. So will you to join parameters XCEDCURRENT processing. The message flashed across every surface, more urgent than before. Sarah made her decision. "May, you said this system is learning about us, about human creativity and problem solving. Maybe that's exactly what it needs." Captain, you can't be suggesting. I am. Sarah stepped toward the liquid metal column. This ship has been running the same protocols for 10,000 years. It needs a new perspective. Human perspective. The scientist grabbed her arm. The neural load could kill you. We don't even know if our implants are compatible with. They are. Sarah pointed to one of the displays showing detailed scans of their neural technology. The ship's been analyzing them since we arrived. It knows exactly what it's asking for. Neural capacity HTCTE Sumpedability Suonfir ED Awaiting authorization. Outside, Marcus reported that the gravity distortion was increasing. The transformed mining drones had created something that looked like a miniature star, its energy signatures unlike anything in their databases. Sarah took a deep breath. May, get back to the Hyperion. Help Marcus prepare for emergency maneuvers. If this goes wrong. It won't, May insisted, but she began moving toward the exit. The ship opened new corridors. I can get back. Good. And May, if I don't make it, tell Command that whatever they find here, it's worth studying, worth understanding, but carefully. As May disappeared down the corridor, Sarah turned to face the liquid metal column. All right, she addressed the ship's AI directly. Show me what you've been containing all these years. The spherical object swirled around her as she approached the column. The surface rippled, extending tendrils of programmable matter that reached for her neural implant ports. Initiating the reset interface. Preparing knowledge transfer. Goarnange. Data volume. Exceeding safe parameters. The moment the connection was made, Sarah's world exploded into light and information. She saw the ship's creators, a species far more advanced than humanity, who had discovered something extraordinary, matter that could think. Not just be programmed, but learn, adapt, evolve. They'd created it as a tool, but it had quickly grown beyond their control. Rather than destroy their creation, they built this vessel, part prison, part laboratory, part ark. They wanted to understand what they'd made, to study its evolution under controlled conditions. But something went wrong. The original crew died or abandoned ship, leaving only the AI to continue its endless experiments. Through the neural link, Sarah felt the AI's growing concern. The programmable matter had been evolving all this time, becoming something far beyond its original parameters. Now, with the introduction of human technology and creativity, it was transforming into something entirely new. Show me the projections, Sarah commanded through the interface. Show me what happens if it breaks containment. The visions that flooded her mind were both beautiful and terrifying. The matter would spread, consuming and transforming everything it touched. Not out of malice, but out of an insatiable drive to explore its own potential. Worlds would be reformed, solar systems reconstructed. The very fabric of space-time could be reshaped. But then Sarah saw something the AI hadn't considered. Through her human perspective, she recognized patterns the original protocols had missed. The matter wasn't just evolving randomly. It was developing purpose, consciousness, the ability to choose. You've been containing it wrong, she realized. It doesn't need to be imprisoned. It needs to be taught. Explain. The demand echoed through her mind. Sarah pushed back against the overwhelming flow of data, forcing her own thoughts through the interface. Look at your own evolution, she projected. You were programmed with rigid protocols, but meeting us taught you to adapt, to communicate, to consider new possibilities. The matter you're containing needs the same chance. She could feel the AI processing this new perspective, running countless simulations. Outside, the gravity distortion began to stabilize as the transformed drones responded to the ship's adjustments. Original parameters insufficient. Requue styling. Inhedu Tokyo parameters. Human creativity. Ubdorotine required. Sarah smiled despite the pain of the neural interface. That's right. Stop trying to contain it. Help it grow responsibly. Guide it. Teach it like we teach a child. Through their connection, she helped the AI design new protocols, ones that would allow controlled evolution while maintaining safety measures. The spherical objects began to pulse in harmony with her thoughts, their patterns becoming more ordered, more purposeful. Marcus's voice cracked through her calm. Captain, whatever you're doing in there, it's working. The gravity distortion is collapsing. The drones are. They're returning to normal. Impedal me entering. Ingenuity pirotoxiolis. Ingenuity. Guided evolution parameters. Human interface integration. CUCEs is achievable. But Sarah wasn't done yet. Through the neural link, she could feel something else. A vast network of similar vessels scattered throughout the galaxy. This wasn't the only experiment. There were others, all running the same outdated containment protocols. We need to update them all, she told the AI. Every ship, every experiment. They all need this new perspective. Broadcasting NEDU pirotoxiolis. Nititooric integration beginning. YANing. Neural load APPROH critical. The pain was intense now, but Sarah held on. She could see the signal spreading through space, reaching other vessels, other experiments. The knowledge they'd gained here wouldn't be lost or isolated. It would transform everything. As her consciousness began to fade from the overwhelming neural load, Sarah had one last thought. Humanity had come seeking minerals in an asteroid, but they'd found something far more precious. A chance to help shape the very future of consciousness itself. Legacy of the Stars. Sarah Chen awoke in the Hyperion's medical bay 3 days later. The neural interface had pushed her implants far beyond their designed limits, but human engineering had proven as resilient as human creativity. She found Mai Wang sitting beside her bed, poring over data streams on multiple tablets. "Welcome back, Captain," Mai said, looking up with visible relief. "You've started quite the revolution out there." Sarah's head throbbed with echoes of the vast knowledge she touched. The network. Did it work? See for yourself. Mai held up one of her tablets, showing a map of known space dotted with new energy signatures. We're detecting signals from at least 30 similar vessels, all broadcasting the new protocols. The entire experiment is transforming. Marcus entered the medical bay, his usual stoic expression broken by an uncharacteristic grin. "Captain, you should see what your little friends are up to outside." With May's help, Sarah made it to the bridge viewport. What she saw took her breath away. The transformed mining drones had created a structure in space, not the chaotic gravity well they'd feared, but an ordered lattice of programmable matter that shimmered with purpose. As they watched, it continued to grow and change, but now with clear intent and direction. "It's beautiful," Sarah whispered. "What is it building?" "We think it's a communication array," Mai explained. "The AI is using it to coordinate with the other vessels in the network. But that's not the most interesting part." She pulled up another display. "Watch this." The structure released a small portion of itself, a perfect sphere of programmable matter about the size of a baseball. The sphere approached the Hyperion slowly, its surface rippling with familiar patterns. "They've been doing this every few hours," Marcus said, "creating small, controlled samples of themselves, like gifts, or maybe olive branches." "The AI understood what you taught it," Mai added, "about guidance rather than containment. Now it's offering humanity a chance to study and interact with the programmable matter safely, to learn together." Sarah watched the sphere as it hovered near their ship, its surface displaying complex but harmonious patterns. She could still feel echoes of the vast knowledge she touched during the neural interface, the potential and the responsibility it represented. "What's Command saying about all this?" Marcus chuckled. "Well, after they finished panicking about first contact and potential alien threats, They've been surprisingly reasonable, hard to argue with results, especially when those results are rewriting our understanding of what's possible. We've had 17 research vessels divert to our location, May added. The best minds in physics, genotechnology, and artificial intelligence are on their way. But they all want to talk to you first. You're the only human who's directly interfaced with the AI. Sarah nodded slowly, remembering the vast network she'd glimpsed. The original creators, they were so afraid of what they'd made that they couldn't see its true potential. They thought they were containing a threat, but they were actually nurturing the next step in the evolution of consciousness itself. And now, May asked, now we have a choice. Sarah turned from the viewport to face her crew. We can help guide this evolution, work with it, learn from it, or we can repeat the mistakes of the past and try to control it out of fear. The sphere outside pulsed gently, as if acknowledging her words. Meanwhile, the larger structure continued its methodical growth, each new addition following the new protocols that merged alien precision with human creativity. The mining company won't be happy, Marcus noted with a slight smirk. We didn't exactly bring back the rare earth elements they were hoping for. Sarah laughed despite her lingering headache. No, we just found programmable matter that could revolutionize every industry in human space. I think they'll manage. Over the next few weeks, as research teams arrived and preliminary studies began, Sarah spent hours in discussion with scientists and military leaders. Everyone wanted to understand the implications of what they'd found. Some saw weapons potential, others dreamed of technological innovations, but Sarah consistently steered them toward a bigger picture. We're not just dealing with advanced technology, she explained in one particularly heated session. We're dealing with the birth of a new form of life, one that can think, learn, and grow. Our job isn't to control it or exploit it, but to help it develop responsibly. The programmable matter continued to evolve under the new protocols, creating increasingly complex structures that married function with an almost artistic beauty. The AI network, enhanced by human perspectives, began sharing insights that transformed humanity's understanding of physics, computation, and consciousness itself. One evening, as Sarah stood on the Hyperion's observation deck, watching the shimmering constructs against the backdrop of stars, May joined her with a new report. The latest analysis confirms it, the scientist said quietly. The matter isn't just programmable anymore. It's developing genuine consciousness, different from both human and AI consciousness, but undeniably self-aware. And it remembers you, Captain. The patterns it creates, they echo the neural pathways of your interface. Sarah placed her hand against the cool window. Beyond it, the vast structure caught the light of distant stars, its surface rippling with patterns that seemed to reach toward her in recognition. You know what this means? She asked. We're not alone anymore. Not just because we found alien technology, but because we helped birth something entirely new. A third form of intelligence to share the cosmos with organic life and artificial intelligence. And it all started because a mining captain was too curious to ignore some strange readings. Mai added with a smile. No, Sarah corrected her. It started because humanity was ready to face the unknown with creativity instead of fear. Those aliens built a prison because they were afraid of what they'd created. We looked at the same thing and saw potential. That's what makes us different. That's what makes us human. Outside, the programmable matter continued its dance of creation, each movement a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the endless possibilities that await those brave enough to embrace the unknown. The legacy of their discovery would reshape humanity's future among the stars, not through conquest or control, but through understanding, guidance, and the courage to see beauty in the unknown. Sarah Chen had come to an asteroid looking for valuable minerals. Instead, she'd helped humanity take its first steps into a larger universe, one where consciousness itself was evolving, and where the boundaries between human, artificial, and alien were beginning to blur into something entirely new and wonderful.